Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition, and today we are going to talk about patterns and themes, and recognizing our patterns and themes and where we might keep getting tripped up. So we're going to try to break that down today. And I want to start by talking about when you will normally be able to see something clear. A lot of times when we're in a reality, we 100% can't see what's going on. We just see a piece of it. We see like a fractal of the whole thing. We don't see the whole thing because you really can't see the whole thing. We're just in the scene of the movie. We're kind of in the scene and we can't see the next scene. We can't see how the other scenes have played in yet. We're just in that one scene. And until we get to a vibration above that reality we're in, remember our consciousness will always be in a different reality in a sense, but our body's vibration depicts the reality we're participating in. So we won't really be able to see 100% of what's going on until our consciousness and body starts moving out of that reality and we can kind of see the whole thing. And once we get to it, we can look at it and go, okay, I think I see what's going on here. I think I see where I'm getting kind of tripped up, or I think I see where I'm getting confused on something. I think I understand. So what you're going to find is you're going to have different go-tos you're going to do. And sometimes they can just revert back to different programming that you have, different things you don't like to do. Like you might not like to move around, you might not like to have people leave, you might not like change. Our humans really never like change, but people's degree of which they can deal with changes, and our soul will keep moving us around to different places a lot, different people, different places, because every place we live, every place we work, every people we meet, there's a purpose to everything. Even the places we live. And I want to focus a little bit more today about the places we live because they have a purpose. That's why when you start going through your ascension process, a lot of us start moving around a lot, or what would seem like a lot compared to how we were in our human existence. Moving around every 2 years might not seem like a lot to somebody, but for someone who's been in the same place for 15 years, that's a big move for them. Other people who might have moved every 2 years might be moving every 2 months. It's going to kind of be different depending on what your human existence was like. But you're going to find yourself moving around because the place you're in has a purpose. It has a lot of purposes, but one of the purposes it has is to support a certain reality, support a certain purpose. You were in that place for a purpose. It might have been to raise your body vibration, to complete out a certain karmic clearing you were doing. You were in that place for a reason. It supported you for that reason. You moved there to go through a certain body process, to go through a certain part of your ascension process. And once that process is done, you will find that the reality is no longer supported. The place will no longer be supported. And you can kind of equate this to whatever. For me, it comes in places nowadays. It comes in different places where you all of a sudden, all the support gets sucked out of that reality. And that normally will mean the money. And that's how our universe gets our attention. The money leaves the reality because your universe will no longer put any energy. Your universe, remember, it's just you. Higher versions of you will put no more energy into supporting this reality. It kind of gives you that wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This reality's got to go. We're not supporting this anymore. Now, I know years ago I had this happen where I tried to hold on to the reality and I kept thinking that, okay, I want all this stuff and I'll just wait, 1 more month, it'll change, it'll shift, it'll get easier because all this stuff is going to come in. Not understanding that all the stuff I was trying to anchor in was in a different frequency. It was in a different place. My body had to be at a certain frequency for that. And my body couldn't be at that frequency in the current space I lived because that space didn't support that frequency. So I had to go to a different place that supported that frequency of what I needed to do next. Now, your human is going to always have a different agenda. It's going to want all these other things to happen when you might be in this place, with this person, in this job, whatever it is. It's going to want all these it's going to have all these other stories about all these other things that are going to happen here. And when those things aren't happening the way you saw them, the way you wanted them to happen, and all of a sudden the money starts getting sucked out of that reality, which is just the support. Your support's going to drop. The energy is not going to be there. It's not going to support it. And money is just energy. So normally that's what our universe uses. It's going to start sucking the support out of that reality because it's going to start putting its energy into supporting something else. You just might not have seen that yet. Or you still are in that mindset like, well, let me just hold on a little bit longer. If you're saying that, let me hold on a little bit longer, chances are the reality is trying to close out and you're just trying to go through the suffering of it, and there's a purpose to that in a sense. It's not the highest purpose, but it's a purpose. You're still clearing programming. I explained it kind of on my stream earlier. It's kind of like trying to, if you're trying to go from Virginia to California, and all you're doing in a sense is you keep going from, you're going from Maine to Florida, and you're never getting to California because you're just bebopping. You're not getting anywhere. Yeah, you're clearing some programming, and eventually you're going to get to that realization. And normally these realizations come after big emotional clearings, big physical clearings, That's when these realizations come, where you can kind of look at different things and go, well, okay, this isn't supported anymore. Why isn't this supported? This felt like this was going to be supported 6 months ago. It's not supported now. What's going on? Let me look at this. And sometimes you check in on the reality, because in vibrational realities, we move very quickly. And something that was supported 6 months ago won't be supported anymore. It's no longer aligned. You've done everything you need to do here. Now you have to go and do something else. The other realities you want to anchor in are you living in a different space. You're no longer going to be living in the same space. It's going to come in a different space, because that's going to support the frequency of the reality you're going to try to bring in and anchor in. You're going to be anchoring in. It can't be done in the space you're in. So if you find support leaving a reality, and you're still kind of trying to figure out different ways to support it, and I did that for a while, let me figure out different ways to support it, nothing is working. Every way I'm trying, nothing's working. Whereas 2 years ago, for 2 years, this reality was completely supported, and now nothing is supported in this thing anymore. You kind of start to get to that realization, and it can take a while, It took me also going through a physical clearing to finally be able to see what was going on. I'm like, okay, I'm doing what I did 3 years ago. And I even remember saying that to myself, like, this feels just like 2019. What's going on? How am I in this again? It's because you're holding on again. That's kind of like what am I not willing to do? Why am I holding on again? I'm doing the whole thing again. I'm trying to hold on to a reality, keep thinking something's going to shift when it can't shift in this vibration. It can't shift in this reality. The purpose for this reality was not the purpose I was trying to bring into it. I wanted ABC to happen, but that's not going to happen in this reality. It's going to happen in a different one, which normally means we have to move our body. We have to change our location. We have to move somewhere else that's going to support that reality. And if we get in our human brain about it, we're going to be like, oh, well, if the support's not there for this amount of money or amount of rent or amount of whatever, how am I going to go do something else? Normally we upgrade realities. We have more money we need to do. That's usually how I find it. They're more expensive. And, if you couldn't pay this, how am I going to be paying this? Once you move to a reality that's now fully supported again, the money will be there to do it. You don't need to worry about that. It doesn't matter if it's double what you were paying before. The money will be there to support that reality, if that's the soul aligned reality you're supposed to go to. You might not like how the support comes in, but the support will be there to support you. Your universe will use these things to kind of get our attention, to say, hey, this reality is closing. You can either take it to the end, which you're not going to like, because it's going to get harder and harder and harder. These realities are not supposed to be hard. Yes, they can be challenging because they're pushing us through programming. But if you're getting to a point where you feel like, and you keep saying, just let me hold on one more month. Let me see if something shifts, something changes. Let me keep trying to, beat my head against this wall in front of me because I don't understand. I know for me, a lot of times, because I can see a lot of realities, I'll find myself kind of getting attached to one and going, okay, well, I saw this one, so this is my timeline now. And I've started to kind of understand, even though I kind of knew it, but we really have to keep checking in on reality, thinking, okay, well, this was a reality. And then I came out of this whole big physical thing I was going through, and okay, now I'm in a different reality now. Is this one still aligned? Or is this kind of where I was trying to get to, and now this isn't aligned anymore? Our soul doesn't care about marriage contracts, doesn't care about leases, it doesn't care about homes we own, doesn't care about any of that shit. Does not care. If you're not supposed to be there, you're going to be moved out of there. You're going to break leases, you're going to get divorced, you're going to, sell your house. It doesn't matter. You will do all these things. You will do it forced to do it, or you will do it, you'll go peacefully in a sense and go, okay, so this isn't supported anymore. Let me go see which reality is supported, because that's the next one I'm going to go to. That's where all the stuff I'm trying to anchor in here, which is not happening, is going to come in easily, because that's the purpose of that reality. These things can't exist together because they're different frequencies. The place you lived had a purpose. You didn't waste your time. A human's always going to say, a human consciousness, someone in that consciousness will tell you, oh, you're just wasting your time. Oh, you're paying rent and wasting money. Oh, you're wasting your time there. You're not wasting your time. A lot of times we rent for long periods of time in different parts of our process because we're not in our final place yet. We'll move around sometimes for years before we get to that place where we're going to actually live out the rest of everything we have to do, that final place for us that we're going to stay. And we're going to move around a lot in the middle of that, to kind of just touch a lot of different places in a sense, meet a lot of different people. There are different places we have to be. And we keep kind of holding on. It just makes it difficult because eventually the whole thing will collapse. You can already see the support getting sucked out of it. And if it's continually being sucked out of it and you're just seeing every month it's challenging or for whatever reason it is for you and the support is not there, whether it was a person who was giving you emotional support, financial support, whatever it is, if all of a sudden an organization that was and all of a sudden it's gone, it just kind of starts to show you like, okay, it's time to move forward. It's time to say, okay, this isn't supported anymore. What do I got to do to get out of this? Now, don't go into a panic, be like, I got to get out of it right away. It's collapsing, running around. And then we're back in our human fear and it has a purpose, but we can kind of be, okay, let me cry or scream or whatever and be like, okay, calm down. Let me take a breath. Let me give it some time. It might be, let me take a few days. You can usually ask, I usually will ask my universe, I'll kind of say to myself like, okay, if I'm going to break this lease, if I'm going to leave this job, if I'm going to whatever, move or sell my house, what's the date? When do I start enacting this closeout? And you might get a date, like, okay, wait a week. And you're like, and your human's going to be like, no, we can't wait a week. We got to do it right now. We can't wait a week. Shit's going to collapse on top of us. I'm like, you got to let all that stuff resolve, calm down, breathe, see that you saw it when you were supposed to see it. Now we're going to do what we see. We're going to close the reality out. We're going to move on to the next one. If we do that in a complete panic and in a complete freak out, we are not going to get the end result we want because the energy we're starting with is complete freak out. That means everyone in the reality we're going to try to close out with is also going to be in a complete freak out. There's a reason you see different times to do it because those are when energetically it's going to go the way you want it to. Because that's when you're going to be able to resolve it all. Take a little moment, take a breather, take a walk, take a few days off from even thinking about the reality, knowing, okay, I see what I got to do. I know I got to do it this instant. We're going to resolve everything. We're going to, grieve this reality. If we feel like we need to do that, we're going to start to see, okay, what will be exciting in the next reality? Where would I like to go? And usually for me, I normally don't know where I'm going till the very moment I got to kind of walk out the door. And sometimes that's how that happens because that's when we hit the vibration where the information is and it can come in. Sometimes ahead of time. I might have a couple inklings, but I don't think I'm going to know ahead of time, until I probably get a little bit closer in. But just look at where support's getting removed. And like I said, it doesn't have to be with a house. It can be with anything. Everyone's going to have this kind of work out differently, but the energetics is going to be similar. You're going to resonate with the energetics of the story. You might not register with every piece of the story. So look at what's not supported, which was supported before. Usually that's a big sign that it's just run its course. What you were supposed to do in that place has been done. That place cannot support the reality you're now trying to anchor in there. And you're just getting frustrated because you feel like you're doing something wrong. Why isn't it working? Why can't I anchor in this reality, in this space? Because it's not supposed to be here. Kind of like, why can't I anchor in this reality with these people here? They're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be somewhere else with different people to anchor that reality in. So just really look at what's not supported and don't beat yourself up about the support not being there anymore. You're not doing anything wrong. The only thing, and it's not even wrong, we'll just maybe hold on to it too long after we see it. Once you see it, grieve what you need to grieve, close out what you need to close out from your highest place. And trust me, you'll have the money to close the reality out. Every reality I've had to close out, I've had the money to do it. I don't care if it was more expensive than what I was paying to stay in the reality. It didn't matter. When I needed the money to close it out, the money was there to close it out. Even if it had not been there to the moment I tried to close it out, all of a sudden it would be there. The universe will give it to you. It'll be there. Might not be how you want it there. It might come in backwards and sideways, but it'll come. So, okay. Keep practicing the art of intuition.